All right. Hey, it's the Big Canucker here, and welcome back, everyday care people and my knife nerds. And today we're going to have a look at a couple of multi-tools, and we're going to see which one comes out on top. I got a really strong suspicion that this is going to be extremely close. So we're going to be having a look at the Leatherman Wave, and this is the original Wave. This is not the Wave Plus, and we also have the Leatherman Free P4. And you'll have to please excuse my little boo-boo finger here. I've actually got what's called mallet finger, and it does a little trick. And my granddaughter always walks up and she goes, "Let me see your finger, Papa." Pulls it off, boom. And why it, well, eventually, hopefully it'll straighten out. So, yes, my granddaughter can be a little bit of a sadist. So, these are fantastic multi-tools, both of them. And let's go to the tabletop and we'll see what comes out on top. All right, here we have the Leatherman Free as well as the Leatherman Wave on this side. Now, the Wave actually came with a leather holster here. Now, the Free does too as well. I just happen to not get the one with the holster. This one actually came with the belt clip with it supplied. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it comes with a belt clip that's a surprise. You'll see in the picture it is. So I do believe that this is now standard equipment here with the belt clip. And the sheath on this now is actually a nylon gray one too as well. So there is a sheath. And so we're going to probably keep the sheath out of it because I don't have the matching sheath on this side. Well, because, you know, that can make a little bit of a difference. So, for the most part, let's go tool against tool. All right. So, the Leatherman Free has got 21 tools, and the Leatherman Wave has got 18 tools. And it's still both of them are extremely functional right off the bat. And so what we want to do is let's compare the tools head on completely right off the bat. Okay. And then I'll give you my kind of hits and misses on both. And then I'll tell you what I think actually kind of wins the day. All right, so let's open up and have a look at the pliers. You can see that the Free is quite easily opened. Now, this wave has been used for quite some time. This wave here is probably 4 years old, and it is really, really broken in. So it opens up like a real dream, right? There's no, you know, it'll open up almost as good as the Free because it has been broken in. All right, so what we want to do is let's go over the specs here real quick. Before we go over the tools, my fault here. All right, so we've got 4.25 inches long for the Leatherman Free. And, sorry, let's get over to my computer. And then we've got 4 inches here on the Wave. So whether or not you want to say that's a hit or a miss, it looks like the Leatherman Free is a little bit longer than the Leatherman Wave. Open length is 6.45 inches or 16.39 centimeters. On the Wave, it is 6.25 inches, so just a smidge smaller again. So you can see here, just a smidge smaller here. Now the width is 1.3 inches on this. I imagine that's closed. And the width on here is 1.2. So then again, very, very similar. Now we have got 8.6 ounces on the Leatherman Free, and on the Wave you've got 8.5 ounces. And then overall thickness here you've got 0.68 for this one, and this one here you've got 0.7 of an inch. So a lot of them are coming very, very close as far as the overall sizes. Now this here with the belt clip is going to make that quite a bit wider there. By probably 5 millimeters or close to a quarter of an inch. And now, of course, the general thing here, we have the body on this one here is for stainless steel, and your blade hardware is 420 HC stainless steel on both of them, and that is high carbon too as well. All right, so that just gives you an idea. So no really big monstrous advantages over the size. It seems like the Leatherman Free is a little more, I think, form-fitting in your pocket here. And for some reason, even though they are similar weight, it just seemed like this here is a lot lighter. When I was carrying this in the pocket, it seemed like it was quite a bit lighter than this one. Just might have been just the way it was shaped, and without the pocket clip, maybe that makes a big deal. But I felt that the Leatherman Free was quite a bit more comfortable in the pocket. So let's go over the tools here too as well. So now they say that the Leatherman Free has got the strongest set of pliers ever put in any of their multi-tools, and you can see that it is kind of a real kind of beefy set of tools. You've got lots of extra width here. Now this one here doesn't have the replaceable jaws, where this one does, and the new Wave Plus does have the replaceable wire jaws, so they are very similar as far as that, and that's 154 cm on the hardened replaceable jaws, and it's just a matter of undoing these screws, and if you happen to shatter this or chip this, you can actually change it. Now these ones here, I've had this tool for quite some time, and as you can see that there is a little bit of slight wear on it, but I certainly wouldn't look at replacing these right now. If I was cutting something quite a bit hardened, some hardened piano wire all the time, I might look at changing into that, but just for regular soft copper wire, these should last you, you know, many years before you even have to worry about it. And can they be sharpened? You know what, I don't know if they can be sharpened. You really shouldn't need to do any sharpening with them at all. Now the jaws here have broken in so nicely. They're really quite nice and easy to open, where this one here is quite a bit stiffer. Even though this is a pre-owned tool, it is, and I've really lubed this like crazy, it is still needs to be broken in. And that's the one thing I was a tiny bit disappointed in with this tool, is it being free. I wish these jaws were a lot more free, and I wish that they had a spring on them. And I know that a spring can fail, but the Leatherman has got a fantastic warranty at 25 years, and I just really wish that they had put a spring in their multi-tools. I know you've got like some of the lesser multi-tools, like, you know, Gerber and stuff like that, and SOG, they've got some multi-tools with some springs in them, and it's just so much more handy. That's just my own opinion. I think as far as toughness, I think I'm going to give it to the Free for sure. But if you're looking at trying to maybe kind of get into some areas with the needle nose area, I think that the Wave is done a little bit better. Now, where I really like the fact that it's when you can open up, and that's another reason why I think that the Wave has got it over top of the Free, is I like how wide you can open up the jaws. Not that you're going to be grabbing a lot of those large things all the time, but I did find out from experience there, lots of times with my surgeries, I've had to do lots of hoteling, and I hate the water restrictors that they put in hotels, and I know it's good for the environment. And what they seem to do in some of these hotels is they put a water regulator in there, which is fine, I can handle that. But sometimes what they'll do is they'll take the Teflon tape and they'll ball it up and they'll stick it inside the water regulator, further reducing their water, and then you have to run around in a circle to get a wet. And so what I do is, if I go to a new hotel, I test out the shower. If it is very pitiful, I'll pop off the shower head, I'll take out that, clean a little bit of that tape out of there, put it back on, and then I've got a decent shower for the morning. I am a priss, I have to have a shower every single morning. But I found that a lot of these larger diameter things, that even though you're not going to be prying a whole bunch, you still be able to grab it, and my Wave and my Surge will grab it, or I'm very doubtful that the Free will grab it. And that's just kind of my own little thing for why I like to have them a little bit open. So overall jaw strength, gonna give it to the Free. Overall jaw design and usefulness, I'm gonna give it to the Wave. So hopefully that kind of confuses things even more. All right, let's close these things up. All the tools on these two tools are available from the outside, and let's start off with one of the most important things, and that is the knife. That is probably not the most used tool that I'm going to be using. It is a huge tool though, but as you can see how they seem to open up a little bit different, where now if you've got your Free and you close it up and it's in your hand, now you go to use your tools, you got to take that extra step to open it up, and that's a little bit of a Wave win on that side. So now you've got a couple of different blades here. On the Leatherman Wave, you've got a drop point here with a really sharp pointy edge, almost a smidge of a recurve. It came extremely sharp. They're both 420 HC hollow ground blades. Where this one here seems a little bit more hollow ground. This one here is kind of a modified sheep's foot design that is a little bit less of a belly. Overall, I think that this is going to be quite a bit better slicer than this one here. You know, because lots of times when you're doing your draw cut, You've got your belly here, which will cut, but a lot of times what you're relying on is your point to do your draw cutting. And that point is so much more handy. And just the overall sweep with the thinness, I think this is a greater slicer than this one. I think that the size is very similar in the Leatherman, but you can see that it looks like you've got a little bit more edge with your wave. You've got quite a bit more edge with your wave. So if that little bit of extra size matters to you, then I think that you'd be probably look at the wave. Now, where I think that the wave, I like the wave excelling is the fact that you've got your locking bar like this. It's just press in and it'll close up. Where this one here is a little bit more difficult. You got to push it back and then close it that way. It just seems like it's a little bit more natural to do this movement because it's like a liner lock. Where this one here, even though it opens up nice and smooth and it'll close easily by pressing this in the back, it's just not as easy and not as comfortable. What I would like to see is this design blade inside this knife. That's kind of the ultimate thing for me. I think I'm going to give the knife to the wave over the free, just based upon how easy it is to open and close. It's more natural, it's more comfortable, it's less fumbling, and there's less chances of dropping your knife too as well. Going from closing your knife, if you have to do it one-handed, because this is able to close one-handed, and then she's ready to go. There's less chances of me dropping that if I'm up on a ladder and I need to transition to tools. So I'll close this here. And this is just all, there we go, close like that. Now I got to do that extra little bit of a step to turn it around. And one-handed, there we go, and then close it. Just more natural, more comfortable with the wave. Going to give it, even though I like the shape of the P4 better, I think the knife goes off to the wave. All right, so let's go flip on the other side here. And let's go with your saws. There we go. Let's flip that over. There is your saw on here. Serrated. Well, there we go. Oh, yeah, you know what? Duh. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, now your saw is here. It looks like you're going to have yourself a little bit more of a saw on the wave. It seems like the tools are just a little bit more larger on the wave, and you can see that I have used this quite a bit, and I can saw through a 2x4 on this no problems. I don't know exactly sure what this little edge here, number 9, 423 is the saw. I don't know what this little notch here is for. I think is it just to be able to draw it out. There we go. Yes, it is, and that's how you can get it out. Although the free is so much nicer to draw. That saw is truly one-handed. This one here is backwards, and that is where your free, I think, definitely shines that way. Now, overall shape of the saw, I think that you're going to want to have the extra length. The teeth is very, very similar. And I like the fact that this end here can be used. You can sharpen that a little bit, and you can use that as kind of a scraper. Where this one you can't. It's just strictly just a saw. You've got a little bit more meat on this one as far as width-wise, where this one you've got a little bit length. Now, the blade itself, I like this blade, but I like this opening action on the free with a saw, because this being backwards is just kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to give the saw to the free over the wave. Even though I think the saw is a little more functional with one hand, you're better off with the free. And I guess suppose that's with kind of the whole design for it. Now let's go over here to the next tool, which is your serrated edge, and the serrated edge on this side. So now the big difference here is, let's close this up. This serrated edge here, it's got no little thing on it to say that it's serrated. This one here is quite a bit wider, so it gives you the tactile sensation that's your regular blade, and the opposite is your serrated blade. Or on the wave, you've got a little bit of jimping here on the outside, letting you know that that is the serrated blade. Where on the other blade, you've got it completely flat. Now they've gone to kind of a diagonal ways too as well. So your serrated blade is going to open just as nicely as your other flat blade and close just as nicely. Now the serrations are almost identical here. Extremely more meat, more beef on this one. The real thing that I like on this one here is that, again, it's got a sharpened edge here that it can be used as a really nice scraper. I suppose this one here doesn't have that edge. You could probably put this on a stone and you could make your own little sharpening jig on that too as well. But like I said, I just think it's gone through a lot of thought to open this up like this. I'm going to give the serrated edge to the wave too as well. So let's close this up here like that. All right, so let's go over here. This is probably the most used tool that I will have used in all of my Leatherman days, which is the scissors. Now, even though your scissors here are on the outside and these are on the inside, I really like the fact that the scissors are on the outside with this free. Here on this one here, instead of having the scissors, you'd have yourself a file, which, hey, you definitely need to be able to use your file and stuff like that. So let's close that up there that way. There's your file here. I like the idea of having the scissors instead of the file because I will use these scissors 10 times more than I'll use the file. And these are nice, big, heavy-duty scissors. Definitely no-brainer. Got to give the scissors to the free. I think that they've done a fantastic job with that. Locking mechanism, pretty easy to close that way. All right. And let's close this up here. There we go. So let's go with the other. So we got that, the saw. So on the outside tool here, you've got the file. You've got a bidirectional file on this side. You've got a diamond coated file on this side. And then you've got a lined, almost like a knife here. Not a knife, like a little bit of a saw. And I mean, you're not going to saw through reams and reams and reams of steel with this, but you are going to be able to do little notches for sure. And then here, let's have a look at this particular tool here. All right, so here we go. Inside. Here's your file on the free. Hey, which file would you rather have? Of course, you'd rather have this file. And this diamond file is so nice to have. I can use this diamond file. I've actually used this to touch up a couple of knife blades in a pinch, and it works like a hot damn. It's a little bit of a coarse edge, especially when this is new, but this will file through hard material like Bob's your uncle, no problem. Definitely going to give the file over to the wave. All right, so let's have a look at the rest of the tools here. Okay, the rest of the tool set here. And of course, you're going to have yourself a lot more tools on your free than you are in your wave for sure. And they are nicer to get out on the wave for sure. All right, so we've got those three on this side here. And now we've got these ones here. You've got a can opener. There you go. Open that out first. And then you've got room to grab your can opener. So you do have a whole lot more tool set on your free than you do, but I mean, it's also got some kind of a little bit janky things too as well. Like you've got a couple of changes I think they would have been nice for them to use. Is it would have been nice of them to perhaps have one of these in there, which is a 2D adjustable right here. And on one of these here, you could have perhaps made instead of turning this into a screwdriver into a can opener, you could have perhaps made your can opener here on your flat one, because you've got your little wire stripper here. Yeah, that's no problem. And then you got your wire stripper here, two different types of wire strippers. And then you've got, here is your can opener here with your, on this side, here's your little can opener. Here you've got a can opener, bottle opener, all in one. Sorry, let's get this kind of in frame here. So you can see that I think that this tool is so handy here. here you've got really small flat one, which is an awl. You've got a medium flat one, or you've got another flat one there, and then you've got here this flat one, which is also kind of a dedicated scraper. You've also got this kind of a sharp edge in there to opening plastic containers, and on this one here, your can opener is going to be opening up a lot of your plastic containers. Here you've got your kind of your multi-tool pry bar type thing, and then of course you've got. And even though I have used this little tool, an eyeglass opener, and on one side you've got Phillips, and then you've got straight, I have used it in a pinch. Like I said, I needed it one time, and I used it, and I was thankful that I had it. But in the entire 4.5 years that I've owned this tool, I've used this one time, and the one time that I lost this little piece here. And it was such a bitch to try to get just this little tiny thing. I had to buy a whole new bit set just to get that little, which did make me very happy. So useless tool, not 100% useless, but I could see them maybe putting in an awl in here instead of this. I'd be much more happier with a leather awl multi-tool than this little bugger here. So even though this has got the more tools in it, it doesn't seem like they're more incredibly useful tools to have it. So, because a lot of times there's not really a comparison. Like, I mean, here to this, for can openers, they're both going to work. But this is more of a multi-purpose can opener, bottle opener, wire stripper all in one. Would have been nice to have this over there. And then I think it also would have been nice to have something like this tool here in place of this, which is a little bit more beefier. And I also would have liked to have seen this all here maybe with a ruler in place of this. Just, hey, my opinion. And opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one. So, overall tool design and overall tool usefulness, I think I have to give it to the Wave based upon the fact that you've got this tool right here, which allows you to use a whole lot more screwdrivers, where this one, with just the tool itself, you've got a Phillips and you've got a flat. This one, you've got a Phillips and a flat, but you also have the ability to use a lot more of these 2D printed tools, as well as put in the extension in there to get a farther reach. And then if you put the extension in here that goes to a regular 1/4 inch bit driver that I've in one of my other previous videos, you can see that. And then you can use any sort of 1/4 inch bit whatsoever. You don't need a 2D Leatherman bit. That makes that tool way more handy. With the file on here, yeah. Now, let's go to a couple other things here. As far as tools, the overall tooling, I think I'm going to have to give it to the Wave because there just seems to be a whole lot of flat tools on here, and this gives you a little bit more versatility with that changing bit thing. Now, let's go with perhaps kind of toughness and overall strength. Really very, very similar ergonomics, stuff like that. When you squeeze both of them, they both have a little bit of give. But where I think I'm going to give a little bit of toughness to is I think I'm going to give it to the Wave, because here you've got a couple of things that really bother me. One of them is the magnetic locking structure in here with these things here. They've got just the ability to collect a lot of extra metal shavings and get the works gummed up, and then the magnets over time, because as you strike a magnet, you can actually decrease its magnetic, what do they call it? Not hysteresis. Magnetic flux density, so therefore it becomes a less strong magnet. So that will happen over time. Plus, the other thing that really, really worries me is the fact that there's lots of movement here, back and forth. As you can see, there's that movement, where here you do not have any movement at all. Now, that may be just a design choice. There's something in there that I don't know about, but to me, if you've got movement like that, it just doesn't seem to be as strong. Now, I don't know. I haven't taken these and tested them, put them in a vise, and cranked on with the weight to see how much it'll snap compared to the other two. Just with that little bit of movement, just doesn't give me as good a confidence as this one. Now, the other thing, as far as ergonomics, these rolled edges here are so much more comfortable than this free P4. This here is a little bit of a hot spot. And then when you close them, you could just feel that this seems to be more comfortable. These edges are a little sharper on your hand. I mean, if you've got gloves on, that doesn't matter. But these edges here just seem to be not as smooth as the edges here. This just seems to fit your hand a little bit nicer than this one, even without the this on there kind of giving you that hot spot. It just seems like it's the ergonomic I'm going to give it to the Wave. Now, overall, I don't think that you can lose if you have either one of these. I mean, there is a little bit of a price difference here. Let's go here in Leatherman, United States. The free P4 is $139.95 from Leatherman's site, and in the States there, it's $99.95 for the Wave. So you're going to save yourself about $40 on the Wave. In Canada, I do believe that this one here is about $185, and this one here is about $140. So there is, about a $40 savings on either side of the border for the Leatherman Wave. And as far as I'm concerned, the overall functionality, the total functionality of both tools, I think that the Wave has it over the Free just a smidge. If you're going to be carrying a tool in your pocket, and you're not so super concerned about incredible, like a whole bunch of functionality, if the functionality wins on this side is not as important to you, and you're going to carry something in a pocket, I would carry the Free. It's so nice to fit inside the pocket. It carries extremely well. I have not carried this one on the hip though, but I suspect, based upon the size, I think I would probably prefer to carry this one on the hip. If I had to choose between owning one of these tools and that was it, this was going to be my multi-tool for the rest of my life, I think that I would probably still pick the Wave by just the smallest of margins. And the newer Wave with the adjustable teeth. I think that that's so much nicer, having the 154 cm. I think that gives me a little bit more durability, for long-term durability, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. These may be less so now that I have other tools to take the place of this Wave. But if I was using this Wave as just my straight multi-tool, I could see those maybe wearing just a little bit more and not being able to replace them. But now with the new Wave Plus with the replaceable jaws, I think I'm definitely a Wave. Kind of like a scale of 1 to 10. This is going to be probably like a it's so close. This is, let's say this is a scale of 100. This is like 95. This is like 89.7 or something like that. That's how close they are. This is not an overwhelming win for the Wave, but I just would choose the Wave over the Free. If you're going to carry outside of a sheath, definitely carry the Free P4. And if you've got that job where you need to have only one-handed tools at all, then I think your Free P4 is the way to go. But if you've got, like me, and you're going to use this tool, and most of the times you're going to be able to have two hands on it rather than up on a ladder, then I think your Wave is definitely good enough. Save yourself some money, a little bit smaller form factor, and a lot more comfortable, a lot more durable, and I think just a little bit more overall usable. So, if you like what you saw here, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up as well as subscribe. And don't forget, we've got coming up, we're going to finish up this video here for this 1,000 subscriber giveaway. It is happening here on soon, another couple of days here. I do believe Friday is the cutoff, so go ahead and look at the previous video here from this one and make a comment, and you will get yourself into a draw to win this beautiful Extremer Ratio Scout 1, brought to you by a hell of a guy, Patrick Anderson. Okay, thanks so much for stopping by. Please keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.